Welcome to Cobalt Boats' brand new Surf Series. The Surf Series is available in the CS23, R4 Surf, R6 Surf, and R8 Surf. And today we're going to take a peek at the R6 Surf. Standing back here at the transom, you do have your nice flip down swim step. Pull the pin. That allows the step to drop all the way down into the water. Pull the pin back out to bring this back up. There's also the option for a powered swim step, and you'll have some buttons in the walkthrough which will allow you to just power the swim step up and down. This boat does the premium stereo option, so you do have speakers right here in the back. Your transom lights light up the Cobalt R6 logo as well as the Surf logo. Pull-up cleats on the back as well. Transom stereo, and your ski pylon will insert right here in the middle. The ski pylon is stored forward in the boat. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the interior. Back here on the sun pad, you have your nice little rumble seat right here. Your flip-flop back seat as well, so just pull this towards the interior or push it back, depending upon which way you want to lounge on the boat. Just remember, nobody can be behind the rear seat here when the boat's underway. Flagpole as an option. To release the flagpole, push down, turn towards the interior of the boat and release. Same thing for installing. Start with the rings right here facing the interior, drop it down, give it a twist, you'll feel it drop into place. Push on the spring and then turn it the rest of the way to lock it into place. Fender clips located at the rear here, so you can clip in your fenders for nice easy docking. And then your fuel fill is located right here on the starboard side. Your cooler storage right here. In the engine compartment, right up front right here is your manual fire port, so you can insert the fire extinguisher if there's ever a fire in there. Fire extinguisher is located over here on the port side, along with your battery switch, your table leg if you've optioned the boat with the table, garbage can, your ski pylon inserts into the back, and then this boat is also optioned with the Metrovac little air compressor, so you can blow up your air toys when you're out on the water. Storing your toys, so your wake surf boards, wakeboards, things like that. You can just pull up on the little knob right here, swing the rack in. You can lock it into place so it's not moving around. You can then lift up on this guy to release or put your board back in place. Just swing the rack out to keep it from hitting anybody in the head when you're hanging out on the water and underway. Accessing the engine compartment in your R4, R6, or R8 Surf, nice and easy. Lift up on your little handle, and then just lift up on the hatch itself. It does have gas assist shocks to assist with lifting and keeping it open. Your power plant in the middle here. You have your ballast tanks located on either side. On the inside of the engine compartment, you do have your fittings and also your valves for your ballast system, as well as in this particular boat, your head. This boat is optioned with the electric porcelain toilet option, which uses raw water, lake water, or seawater to actually flush the toilet itself. This boat also has an automatic fire extinguisher system, standard dual batteries in the boat as well. Just forward of the engine is also the transducer, which tells you your water temperature and depth. Your beautiful helm here at the new R Series Cobalt Surf, Delmar captain's chair with flip-up bolster. This is also the powered helm seat in this boat, so you can have a power up and down and also fore and aft. Moving over to the port side observer seat, you have a nice flip-up bolster here as well. You also have your seat back, which moves fore and aft, and then access for a little bit of storage, as well as access to the holding tank for the toilet if you option it with the electric porcelain toilet, in case anything needs to be serviced on that. In-floor storage, this rear one right next to the observers and the helm seat, this is actually a ballast tank compartment in the Surf Series, but the one forward of that, plenty of storage. Lift up on your little handle, give it a quarter turn and pull up. This is where the flagpole can officially store away. Great spot for your tent poles, for your tonneau covers if your boat has that, as well as our bimini poles are stored in here as well, so when you deploy the bimini, it holds it open. When you close up any of the in-floor storage compartments, there's a little red dot here on the handle. Make sure that red dot is facing down. That's just an indication that that compartment is locked. Moving over to the head compartment right here. Again, this is the electric toilet porcelain option. So it just has a button and just uses lake water or raw water to flush the toilet, and that just goes into a holding tank. The holding tank pump out is located on the forward deck of the boat, kind of in the bow area. There are some switches in here for lights. If you have the sink option, it'll have a button in there for the water pump to pump the water from the in-boat water tank to the sink, so you can rinse your hands, rinse out a cup or something like that. On the door itself, you have a nice little glove box up here. Then you have some shelf storage with some USB chargers as well. Your rear view mirror, nice and wide and big, just a nice pull out, little retention knob, locks it in the up and down position. Your walk-through window, you do have a latch in the front right here, which allows it to stay nice and open and locked in the open position, I should say. And then when you close it, you have a couple turn and lock latches on the window itself that allows it to stay closed when you're underway. Your wind block door here, so you undo your latch and your 2 pins. Open this guy up, pin it back into place, and then with that window closed, you're really creating a nice breeze-free cockpit when you're underway. Moving up into the bow area of the boat, we were talking about in-floor storage. There's another compartment here, but because this is the surf model, that's taken up by a ballast tank. On the port side, you have your nice seat that opens and closes for more storage, armrests on either side as well. The forward seat cushion does lift in and out. And then in front of the helm seat, you have a big, huge storage area right here. This is where you can store your cockpit table if your boat has that option. Plenty of room for any life jackets, extra boat gear, things like that. Along with some additional USB chargers as we move all the way to the bow of the boat. Your anchor locker all the way forward. If you option the boat with a windlass, this is where your windlass is located. So here we are at the helm of the new R Series Surf. This looks very similar to the non-surf model boats. The main difference is you have some surfing control in the Garmin screens now. Your Fusion stereo control over here to the left of the steering wheel. Your power button. One thing that I've noticed with the stereos is because we turn the battery switch off when we're all done for the day, the Bluetooth module inside of here automatically disconnects, or your head unit, I should say, is no longer discoverable. So you're not going to be able to automatically pair seamlessly when you start the boat back up, but it's just a quick, simple couple presses of some buttons to get it back into discoverable mode. You'll press your menu button right here. You'll select Bluetooth with the knob, hit connections, and then the first thing that pops up is discoverable. Push that one more time, and then the check mark is there, meaning that now your device is discoverable. You can press your arrow button here to select between different sources, such as Bluetooth, get connected, and play your music that way. Adjusting the volume is super easy. You can either do it on your device. When you raise or lower the volume on your device, it actually is going to raise and lower the volume in the boat. But you also have the knob here to raise and lower your volume. Start the track over, previous track, play or pause the music, or next track. Or if you're listening to the radio, same thing, next radio station, previous radio station, or go ahead and mute everything altogether. The ignition, just to the right of there. Your nice steering wheel is mounted to a tilt column, so you can tilt the steering wheel up and down. As we move above the steering wheel, all your switches are nicely labeled for your horn, bilge blower, bilge pumps, all your lighting options, nav lights, things like that. To the right of the steering wheel is your surf cruise control. Turn it on and off with a simple push of a button, plus and minus to raise or lower your set speed. Use the throttle to get up to that speed, and then the boat will take over from there. Your Garmin screens up top, beautifully laid out, super legible and easy to read. This is kind of the default view where you have your navigation on the port side screen and then your gauges on the starboard side screen. Using the port screen, if I hit home, this is going to allow me to see my preset screen views. So for example, we were in the cruising mode. You also have wake surf mode, So this still keeps your navigation map on the left, but you have some more digital readouts for engine information, water temperature and depth, and then your surf control comes up on the starboard side screen. You have the ability to drain or fill all your ballast zones. Your GPS speed, your trim position, and your fuel level are up top here. You can select surf left or surf right. Keep in mind your surf gates will stay in until you are above 7 miles an hour, and then they'll automatically deploy. Performance hoist trailer mode. Hoist trailer can be used to automatically retract the surf gates or keep them in the stored position, and then start to empty your ballast. This is just a quick one-touch button in case you're putting the boat back on your trailer, back on the hoist, or back into the slip. If I hit home on the right-hand screen, this actually takes me to the R6 homepage. I have the ability there to swipe over right. One of the things I like in here and what you can access is actually your SC light controller. If you have the RGB interior light package or underwater lights on the boat, this is where you can go in and actually change the color of those. You first need to turn on the RGB or underwater lights here at the helm. Then you can come to the screen right here, and then you can start playing around with colors, zones, programs, and you can configure things to your liking. The default screen just has everything nicely set up and super easy. One of the cool things that I like, if I hit blue, for example, that's all of these areas, my accent, my tower, and my underwater lights. If I wanted to actually just change my underwater lights individually, I could select that and go, oh, I want red, I want yellow. So you have that ability to actually change the zones independently of one another. If I want to go back to having my more normal looking gauge view, I have to come back over to the port side screen, hit home, and then hit cruising, and it'll come back for you. When you are in the navigation view, you do have some options on the bottom right here. You have the ability to go to your waypoints tab. This would be points of interest that either you have created or already inputted. Info for a selected point on the map, you could actually get more information about that area. When I hit menu, that's going to take me into the menu of my current view. For example, if I hit menu on the starboard screen now, that would take me into the menu for the gauge view. If I hit menu on the port side screen when we're in navigation mode, this would take me into my navigation chart menu. If I hit the mark button, that's going to mark my current location. SOS in case you're having an emergency or observing an emergency. If you press that, you have to then go through a couple steps to actually confirm the emergency you're having or observing. You can't just press it and all of a sudden an alarm will go out. Just kind of a safety that's kind of built in case you accidentally press a button, or say some young kids are kind of playing around and accidentally press it. You don't want the emergency services coming if you're not actually having an emergency. To the right of the helm, you have your Volvo Penta digital readout. If your boat is optioned with trim tabs, this is where your trim tab control is going to be. Heater control if optioned. Arch power switch here to control the tower or provide power back to the switch to raise and lower the tower. You have your helm seat control here if you have the powered helm seat option. And then you have windlass control here at the helm, but keep in mind you always want to try and operate the windlass from up in the bow so you can make sure the chain isn't getting tangled. Throttle binnacle right here. You have your trim manual up and down. To go forward or in reverse, lift up, push it forward, you'll feel an indentation right there, that's forward. Pulling it back to that first indentation, that is reverse. You also have an N button right here. That is a neutral only mode. It disengages the outdrive or the propellers. This is typically going to be used when the team is servicing the boat for you. On the back side of the throttle, there's some additional buttons. You have a plus and minus button. You have a cruise, a tow, and a trim assist button. The tow button is a software extra. Basically, it's a different cruise control, something that you don't need on the Surf Series boat because you already have the zero off speed control. The cruise button, when you press that, the green light lights up, and that enables you to adjust the boat speed rather than using the throttle, but with the plus and minus buttons actually. And last but not least is the trim assist button. That is automatically going to raise and lower the outdrive depending upon your boat speed. When you are surfing, when you are in surf mode, you want to make sure you disengage trim assist. Your red safety lanyard right here, you always want to make sure if you're alone in the boat, you put that on just in case you fall overboard or you hit a huge wave and knock yourself over, that the boat will actually turn off, and that way it's not continuing underway without you knowing. Also over here on the side of the helm is your Halon automatic fire extinguisher indicator. That little light will be lit up green, indicating the system is charged and ready to go in case there's a fire in the engine compartment. On this particular boat, we have the powered tower option, so you can just hit a button to raise or lower the tower. In order to raise or lower the tower though, first thing at the helm, we need to turn on our arch power. Then you want to make sure your mirror is folded out of the way. And then the location for the switch is actually right by the cooler seat cushion, tucked up underneath here. When you press the down button, the tower is going to go ahead and lower down. Just be cautious when you're lowering it. You don't want to touch anything, might touch the mirror or something like that. So just make sure you're checking it out as it's going down. To raise it back up, just the opposite. Press the up button, it's going to come back up. Automatic latches actually keep this in the locked and upright position. When it's all the way up, remember to go back to the helm and turn off the arch power switch. This way nobody is accidentally going to press the button and actually lower the tower. You don't want that when you're underway. Thanks for joining me today on the new Cobalt R Series Surf. I hope you enjoyed the operations walkthrough. It gives you a better idea how to run your boat when you're out on the lake. We hope to see you soon out on the water. Take care.